I'm Joe Howard, I'm the festival runner, and as you saw, we only allow amazing films in this festival. All we care about is quality. But we are forced to give out certain awards, and one of those is called Best in Fest, short film. And the country they call life is the winner of Best in Fest short film. This is the Poppy, the Golden Poppy. It is an award made by a local artist who makes beautiful food out of polyurethane. This wonderful artist is also involved in the festival, but this is yours, as well as we have a sponsor, Yow.tv.
Congratulations.
Who,
Thank you.
a $500 cash prize.
Wow. Thank you. This is incredible. I was not expecting this.
And I'll add, the first time I saw your film, I was on an exercise bike, and I cried for about 15 minutes afterwards.
Oh my God.
Because I have a 19-year-old daughter. And then, so daddy-daughter stuff gets me. And then I insisted on my wife watching it with me that night later, and I cried again. And I just cried right now in the back. I had to walk over by the door, but it's a beautiful film.
That's so sweet.
Thank you so much for submitting it.
Yeah, thank you for having us.
And now we hand it off to Christian. And thank you so much, Yow.tv.
Can we just get a photo?
Yeah.
Woo!
Oh my God.
Sure. Yeah, in the middle.
Sandwichy.
Yeah. Get the poppy in there too. Awesome.
Thanks so much. Thank you.
Great job.
Wow. Thank you so much.
Congratulations.
Hang that on your wall.
Goodness. Yeah.
Congratulations. Take that with you to dinner. Walk around with it. Highly recommend.
Wow.
It could not be more well earned.
Thank you.
I'm the daughter of a single parent mom, so definitely these get to me. Before we start talking about this joy-filled movie, I feel like I should give out more good news. Best in Fest for a short film. Grand Jury Award for Best Director for Featurette.
Wow.
Grand Jury Award for Best Lead Actress. And a Grand Jury Award for Best Produced Screenplay.
Wow. I was not expecting any of this, but thank you.
It's so fun if you expect it.
I know, it's true. Wow.
Okay, I want to start going deep, if that's okay with you guys.
Yeah.
I'm about to lose friends in the audience. I love you guys. We talk about abortion as about our bodies all the time.
Yeah.
But you have her mom say to her, nobody talks about what happens next.
Mm-hmm.
How has that been when you start to show this film to people?
Yeah, it's really interesting because this film is kind of me alchemizing part of my lived experience. And I mean, along the way in writing this, it became less about telling my story verbatim and more about telling Maxine's story. But I didn't actually realize that a lot of other women that I knew had a very similar experience of going through having an abortion alone. And so in making this, I wanted to kind of humanize the people behind this polarizing and politicized topic. And I wanted to really allow women who have gone through that experience the permission to talk about it. Because do I personally regret what I lived through? I don't, but it's more of the after, sorry, I cut out and my brain got
More about the after.
Yes, just because you have gone through something and I wouldn't personally change what I have done, but it doesn't change the fact that it was a complicated and a difficult decision. And in talking about it with other women that have gone through it, then you're allowed to kind of be uplifted and to progress forward and to find that you're not alone.
The "you're not alone" I think is something that a lot of people are struggling with more than any part of society now.
Yeah.
It's gotten even harder, and it makes it even harder to kind of know what decisions to make. So you were starting to talk to kind of flesh out this world of Maxine, of things that she's been told as a child, things that she believed as an adult, things that she's hearing right now. What kind of things came to your mind as you were starting to put pen to paper?
Well, so for me personally, like I also grew up in the church, and the red light tape in, like on the Bible, that's actually based on a pro-life movement that was a Christian movement back in 2004, 2006. And so it was.
It's very sensitive.
But yeah, it was for me allowing kind of like this window into a character's life that felt authentic and genuine. That was something that could be more of like a mirror to the audience. So it's like you can see a little bit of yourself in any one of the characters. And whether that was me pulling from my own lived experience or kind of taking creative liberties, throughout the process, it was kind of interweaving those moments that I felt like would really tell Maxine's story to the best ability.
How did you come up with the effects that we see at the beginning and the end?
So what's amazing is our visual effects supervisor, Ed. He's incredible, and I actually met him because I was modeling for a sculpture class. It was like a total side quest.
We are going down that quest later.
So he's sculpting my face, and in between him sculpting and then, you know, you take like a 5-minute break after doing 20 minutes, and we just started talking about the film, and I told him about the visuals that I was picturing in my head, and he was like, well, you know, I do visual effects. And he's like, I'd love to read the script and give you my input. And I was like, that would be incredible. And so he ended up being like, you know what, actually, can I come on board? And I was like, yes. Like, this man has worked on Dune 2. He is a heavy hitter. He's done like Super Bowl commercials. He's amazing. And super incredible, and at like tapping into what your vision is as a director. And you know, I gave him a bunch of different mood boards and things like that, but there was a lot of, pretty much everything that was written into the script, he brought it to life exactly as I was picturing it. Also with like his own twist to it, but it was like watching it through, it was just like, yes, this is what I was going for. And we wouldn't have been able to get there were it not for him wanting to come on board, I don't think.
That's incredible. The scope of this film cinematically is beautiful. How many days did you shoot? What did production look like?
So we actually started filming on January 8th, which was right when the Los Angeles fires kind of started getting pretty bad. And we didn't know which way it was going to go. We already had the permits and everything lined up. And so my producer and I, we were like, you know what, let's go for this. Like, you know, like fires in LA, they happen all the time. Maybe they'll die down. So we go out to the Mojave Desert, we're filming there, we're out of service all day, and then by the end of the day, we realized we just need to go dark for tomorrow, see how it goes. We ended up needing to cancel the rest of the shoot. And so that gave me an additional $12,000 to raise before our permits expired, because a lot of filmmakers in here will know that, you know, LA permits, they expire and they can be expensive to get them back. But because we flew Sydney in from New York, we were flying Bates in from Boston. It was a lot to coordinate, and so had to raise an additional $12,000. We did it before the permits expired, and so it took 5 days in total, with a bit of a gap between day 1 and day 4 through, or 2 through 4.
That's impressive. One, congratulations on getting an independent short film done in what, 6 months?
Yeah, from front to back, I would say it was about, like when we started production, it was, ending principal photography, it was probably like 3 months.
That's impressive.
And then, you know, post-production takes some time.
Some time, yes, that's a great way to put that. Do we have any questions from the audience? Right in the back.
So the film is very non-linear. There's a lot of different pieces that have to come together. I'm curious about the editing process. There's a lot of like match shots that cut between moments in time, how that process went in post, and also like how the film changed from what you thought it was going to be while you were filming to what it kind of ended up becoming through the edit.
Yeah. So a lot of the kind of intercuts between the past and the present, it's all written into the script, but the matching shots that you're talking about was something that Natalie, the editor, and we found in the editing room, and she actually has a large background in music video editing, and so for her brain kind of works in that collage style, and so it, we definitely took some time to kind of untangle the knots of like, okay, how can we punch this up a little bit more? The whole sequence in the Red Rocks, in the script, there's certain beats that were written, but we didn't get certain beats because the location had changed. Originally, I wanted to film in Arizona, and then we ended up moving it to LA. So there were a few things that shifted quite a bit in the editing room, but then there was a lot that was really sticking with the script. But yeah, the matching shots, like you're saying, it was something that Natalie and I were like, wait, what if we work in this shot from the youth group scene and put it on this moment where she's talking with her boyfriend and things like that.
Right up front.
So I literally made, my next film that's coming out is on this topic. It's on the topic of abortion. And I definitely have one opinion over the other. You touch on a lot of these subjects. I mean, obviously, and I think everyone agrees, you did such a fantastic job of presenting the subject without politicizing it. It was very much an exploration of a single person and their experience. Did you ever worry about the feedback about one side or the other from one side of the aisle? Did that come into play when you were writing, when you were planning? Because it has for me, and I'm just kind of terrified about either not pushing the needle or coming up representing a side and not doing a good job of it.
Yeah, from the beginning with this film, I never wanted to create a polemic, and I never wanted to kind of add contrast to an already like one side or the other topic. I wanted to remind everyone of the people that go through this experience, because it has become so like, what side are you on, instead of like, who are the people? And we live in a time where it's become increasingly more and more difficult to view people as human, right? It's like, oh, you don't agree with me, so therefore I hate you and I'm going to tell you you're wrong. But no one's changed their mind by being told that they were wrong. And so for me, in making this, I wanted to allow it to just be a window. I didn't want to judge anyone. I didn't whether it was Maxine or the people in the youth group. I wanted to tell this story and kind of open the window to see the story play out, and hopefully people can kind of come to the metaphorical table and walk away with like a deeper understanding of humanity as a whole.
Right over here. Ooh, lots over. We're gonna work our way around. Yes, ma'am, yours. Yes.
I had a question about was there an intention around the kind of casting of this family? Because
I'll repeat the question.
of the casting of this family, because as a mixed race person, I was this was so relatable on so many levels. So I was wondering it felt like my family, and so I was wondering was that intentional of the background of the family and casting, or did you just find your amazing actress and build her family out?
Sorry, the question was there some intention in having the mixed race family, or did it come from finding the actress and then building around there?
So essentially it was from knowing Sydney. She and I was graduating high school early and she transferred in, and we saw each other in passing. Years later, we saw each other's spin class, and then years later after that, I saw her in Severance, and I reached out to her and I was like, you're incredible. And she was like, it would be great to work together someday. And so when I had this script, I reached out to her, and then I also personally know Bates, who is the dad. And so after that, it was more just a matter of finding the mother, who was played by Dee Freeman, who actually unfortunately passed away in April 2nd of this year.
Incredible actress.
Incredible. Working with her was just I have no words. Like, she just had this buoyancy to her presence in life as a whole. But yeah, so it was not originally intentional, but I did, you know, in working with Sydney and with Bates and with Dee, I wanted to make sure that I was kind of, you know, doing justice to that kind of a family dynamic. Thank you.
I'm gonna go to the back and then I'll work my way back through. Yes, ma'am.
I just want to say, I really appreciated it so much. My background personally is being a counselor for family planning and working with women that are pregnant and having to make the decision with them, or at least just talk about what's available. And it's a really difficult time compared to what it was like in 1970s, which when it first got started with Roe versus Wade, and then also up to this point where we're back, you know, where the whole issues are still the same. I just want to congratulate you and thank you so much, because it brought a lot of attention to the emotions and the feelings of the women that go through this.
Thank you so much.
Best and best earned. Right here.
Why did Maxine's boyfriend betray her?
You know, that's something that is also based on my experience, and I think it was more of a fear for him. That being said, can anyone really know what's going on in someone's mind? But yeah, it was, I think, you know, who knows at this point.
Yes.
I really appreciate the story. Is there other like personal things that you feel like you would want to manifest in a film, like you did this? Is there other films that other ideas you feel like?
Tell us all your deep secrets.
So I do want to make this into a feature. And with the feature, it's going to be less, you know, the abortion is going to be a plot point in the story, but it's going to be less about that and more about kind of, are we given these predetermined scripts for our life, and do we have to stick with these generational cycles? You know, Maxine mentions like I actually can't remember if we brought it into the edit or not. I feel like I've seen multiple versions, so my brain, but in the original script, there's a moment where she's like, either way, I'm making the same decision as my mom. You know, there's the scene where she's talking to her mom, and her mom's like, I had 2 abortions, but also I'm a Christian woman, and I failed you as, you know. So focusing more on, are we given these generational cycles to kind of perpetually live out, or are we able to curate our own path? And how much of our past and our upbringing are we like, do we have to just toss it all away, or can we bring the good bits with us forward?
You like writing comedies.
Well, I do have a short film that I was writing the other day that it is more about like a female wrestler, and it's kind of more in the like kind of vibe of like Little Miss Sunshine, I guess you could say. So I'm not all like, you know, let's get to the heart of the matter, but that is like, yeah.
No, it's one of the reasons we all love filmmaking. You get to talk about things that the world won't necessarily want to discuss.
It's true.
And it's why we're here and why we get to sit in theaters together, movies as a person together, not just on a streaming screen on your phone alone. So then you guys were coming out. This is amazing to be able to have this time with you guys, with amazing filmmakers, to be able to talk about these stories and have places to scream. I'm not going to say you can't scream in here before you leave. Fully recommend that happening. We do have another block of films this evening, so please come on out and hang out. And after our last block, there'll be a couple drinks downstairs at the bar as we end Film Invasion 2026. We'll see you guys in a little bit.